Hey everyone, it's John here from Hot Take Hockey. Welcome if you're a new subscriber. Why the Colorado Avalanche could win or will win the Stanley Cup? Could they go back-to-back? Well, right as I'm recording this video, it came out that Gabriel Landeskog is being ruled out of the playoffs, which is such a big blow for the Avs. But you know what? I'll just say right off the bat to give Avs fans some hope here. And once upon a time, the Tampa Bay Lightning, with their current core, won their first Stanley Cup without Steven Stamkos. I think, obviously the Lightning had won a cup before that, but with this core, the Lightning won their first cup without their captain. And obviously then they won another cup with Stammer, and then went to the cup final last year against Colorado. So I just look at Colorado in terms of their structure. Yes, they did lose big pieces as well. Like, it's not like they're just losing Landeskog here, like Nazem Kadri, who had a huge playoff run, and obviously the big goal in the final. So it's like, you look at Kadri, that's a huge hole for the Avs, already not having Landeskog. And then, even though I wouldn't say Kemper was the driving force of the cup in any way, I mean, you still look at it as that Kemper had more experience. And I'm not saying that the Avs are in tough with goaltending. I do think with what they have right now, and I mean, I even look at, for example, I look at what Francouz did last year, and again, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think he went 6-0 in the playoffs. So to me, Georgiev, I think he can hold his own. I mean, his numbers speak for itself in the season. Obviously, like, we still got to see what happens in the playoffs, but I think he can hold his own. The defense is still what it is. I mean, Bowen Byram's he's taken so many steps, so so impressed with what Byram's done, and obviously we know what Cale Makar can do in any playoff series. So for the Avs, up and down the lineup, they have the size, they have the structure, they have the playoff experience, they have the depth scoring. So I wanted to make this video pretty quickly because, I mean, outside of Landeskog, they still have a lot of the guys that have been successful this season, but focusing on the star players for the Avs, you have to realize how dominant Mikko Rantanen's been this year, and how dominant at any point Nathan MacKinnon can be. And I look back, referencing Tampa again, what Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov did in the run for them to win that first cup with this core, even a guy like Victor Hedman. I mean, Colorado has basically the equivalent of that, if not better, in the combo of MacKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar. So I think, yes, it's a huge loss to not have Landeskog, a huge hole there without Kadri, but they have guys that are able to step up. They just need one of those guys to step up, whether it is Newhook or Rodriguez. Obviously, Nichushkin's going to be a big part of that top six. So, you know, I think the Avs, I have confidence to an extent, but it's not going to be easy to get past that path, whether, like, so Dallas or whoever it is. Like, I think at the point of their side of the bracket, then a conference final matchup against the Oilers. I mean, if they have to play the Oilers again, the Oilers are much better. Like, they are much better this year and better equipped to play the Avs. Because now I look at goaltending matchup. I mean, anyone that wants to question the Oilers' goaltending, does Georgiev really have the resume in the playoffs? Like, Georgiev and Stuart Skinner, that's a young goalie battle if that was a rematch in the conference finals. So for the Avs, again, the confidence in if they will win the Stanley Cup, to me, there's so many question marks now because of Landeskog not coming back, and because they've still kind of been looking at that second line center spot. They acquired Lars Eller at the deadline. That's a huge playoff experience aspect. People can downplay some of these Avs additions, but as I said, you look last year, Helm, Cogliano, all these guys that scored big goals, put Eller on that list because once upon a time, it goes full circle here, folks. The Stanley Cup final, Lars Eller scores a massive goal in what ends up being Washington winning the Stanley Cup. So
at the next light, continue.